Hi, my name is John Ferguson, and I have had the privilege of being a part of NewThing from the very beginning. We started out as a handful of church planters, and our vision was to be a catalyst for a network of reproducing churches. Well, then our networks began to multiply, and we changed the vision to be a catalyst for networks of reproducing churches. Well, since that time, we have begun to see God moving in places all over the world. More and more amazing churches and networks have started and are coming together. Our vision now is to be a catalyst for movements of reproducing churches. Why are we so passionate about movement? Well, because when God moves, people find their way back to Him. And if we can reach just one person, we can reach a neighborhood. If we can reach a neighborhood, we can reach a city. And if we can reach an entire city like Chicago or New York or Nairobi, we can reach the world. I want to welcome you to NewThing Online. I'm so glad you've joined us for this broadcast. We want to bring you some of the most insightful voices and practitioners in the world of church planting. It's our hope and prayer that these online training opportunities will accomplish three objectives. One, we want to better equip NewThing network leaders and pastors. So network leaders, use the content from this online training to jumpstart your monthly network calls. And pastors for NewThing, we hope you will use this content to train your church staff and leaders. Secondly, we believe these broadcasts will create synergy throughout NewThing. We all know vision leaks, right? And we believe experiencing this training online will remind us all of why we do what we do and how together God is catalyzing movements of reproducing churches all over the world. Finally, we believe this kind of training gives prospective church planters one more reason to jump in with NewThing. God has blessed NewThing with access to some of the most cutting-edge thought leaders and practitioners. We know that we all can't afford to go to them, so we plan to bring them to you with fresh, new content every month. So with that in mind, we need your feedback and input. Let us know who you want to hear from or any topics you would love to have addressed. And thanks again for all you do to help more and more people find their way back to God.
What's up, NewThing? Honored to be here, just chatting with you today about a few things. My name is Jodi Hickerson, and one of the questions that really resonated with our team that we just heard somewhere before we ever launched was a question that, it messed with us. It made us start rethinking some things. It made us pray some kind of crazy prayers and dream some dreams. And the question was, maybe you've heard this before, was if the doors of your church closed today, would the community be sad or would they even notice? Would your city take notice? Would they be sad about closing your doors? And this is like before we ever opened our doors. But it set this framework ahead of us to go, well, how do we become a church then that our community would love? Not that we only love our community, but that our community and people that will never even walk in the doors, they love what we're doing and they love the reputation we have in the community and they know that we're there to help. So I think that question, maybe you've heard the challenge too, like becoming the best church, for the city instead of just the best church in the city. It's such a challenge, and it's something that we really think through and we filter decisions through that. Like how are we becoming that kind of place, and what does that look like? And I'm far from an expert. I am just a grateful participant in what God is doing in Ventura. We are 3 years old. We just celebrated our 3rd birthday, which is pretty awesome. But I love this kind of forum where we share ideas and what's working at different places and what hasn't worked, and how can we share our experience being on the same team, and what God's up to. So I just can only speak from the experience of what we're learning and some things that we're doing to become the type of place that does love our community, but also that our community loves and is grateful that we are there and we're a part of it. One of the things that we've learned since we've launched is that, this outreach that we think, we get these compassion initiatives or whatever, they really look a lot more like hospitality. And this relationship, what hospitality is, this relationship between like a guest and the host or a visitor or whatever. It's really interesting when you show up somewhere and you're actually showing up in someone else's city, if that's the way that you've planted. But to think like we would like to be the most hospitable people that this community has ever seen. And some of that original definition, just for hospitality, I think we all like know it when we see it. It's one of those things. But it includes showing respect, showing people respect. It's providing for someone's needs when they walk into your home or your place or whatever, and treating people as better than we would treat ourselves. So those things, like showing some respect and treating people as better than ourselves, providing for people's needs, that just sounds to us like how Jesus walked this planet, how he interacted with people. And so we want to be hospitable. We want to show up and say, how can we serve? How can we love you? And that takes humility. Hospitality, it just does. It takes humility. It's not showing up somewhere with all the answers. You know what this city needs. You know what this community needs. Why don't you have this? You know, we decided early on, like, we're not going to wait for our community to have, like, the DTR with us, and it's, like, awkward, and why did you do that? Don't you know that we have that, and we've been doing this, and this is counteracting this? We decided early on, like, we're gonna DTR with the city, and we're gonna be involved. We're gonna join the city council. We're gonna know what's going on. We're gonna develop relationships with leaders of other nonprofits, of other city organizations. Our executive pastor became the police chaplain, so we know all the calls going out at night, and it's just a way to be a part of what's already going on in this community, and serving up, showing up in a posture that says, "Hey, how could we help? Like, what could we do? How could we support you? What do you need?" And when you ask that over and over, what do you need? Here we are. How can we help? The community begins to ask. I was thinking, let's see, it's probably been a couple months now. It never rains where we are. We live in an area of California that's in like severe drought, so it doesn't rain. And not too long ago, we had just like a random downpour, like the first one in 2 years. And it just flooded, mainly the river bottom where a lot of our homeless friends and homeless community live. And every shelter in the community is full. And they were circling up the city council, and they're going, what do we do? I mean, it is pouring. All the tents are flooded. Everything's flooded. And someone says, well, what about that church that keeps saying, like, how can we help? What can we do? And they called and they said, could we put up an emergency shelter tonight at Mission? And we were like, no, it's like super inconvenient. No. We were like, yes, we actually, like, we've got an EMT that's here. We've got a security team that will show up. We'll take care of people. And, you know, when they wake up tomorrow morning, which is a Sunday morning, they can stay, have their donuts, coffee, come to church. That would be awesome. We would love to be able to say to our homeless community, you are welcome here. And we'd also love to be able to develop this relationship with the city that goes, yeah, we are here. What do you need? You need this, that's awesome. And it's really created just a cool relationship with our city that we know that we're there to serve them, and we want to be hospitable. And they also are learning, like, hey, that's a place we can go for help, and we can turn to a church in our community when we're like on urgent emergency mode. And I think that's pretty cool. Creating this culture within your church body and within people that are there, like, we want to be this place in the community, is something you just say over and over and over again. One of the phrases that we use all the time with people that are at Mission is, we can't do everything, but we can do something. And that is, I mean, I think it's every week, multiple times a week. We can't do everything, but we can do something. And so we find these ways, like, what are these little on-ramps to generosity, initiatives that we can do, things that we can celebrate that aren't like solving the, homeless problem in Ventura County. We can't do everything, but we can do something. So what are we doing to become this place that the community actually loves as much as we love the community? So some super practical things that we've kind of fallen into, learned about. Not all of these are original to us, but have been super helpful and practical about creating this kind of culture. One is what we call Item of the Month. And so every month we have a new local organization or partner that we're partnered with, and we research those, got a team of people that's like, is this an organization we really want to partner with? And we ask, what do you need? Spam? Okay, cool, we can do spam. Toilet paper, we can do that. Peanut butter, we got it. Laundry detergent is currently what we're collecting. Dryer sheets, sheets for transitional housing for homeless individuals. We've collected, all kinds of these little items, which for people, it's like you're going to be at a store anyway. You're going to be picking up toilet paper anyway. Grab some toilet paper, and together we're able to partner with a local organization and show up and say, hey, this is the church in your community that says, we'd love to give you thousands of pounds of peanut butter or Spam or whatever it is, because that's what you need and that's what you asked, and we want to serve what you actually need. So it's just a really cool, it's a cool thing to celebrate too. Every week as this pile kind of grows in the lobby, for people to go, hey, I'm a part of that. I bought a toothbrush and I threw it in that pile. My family went out, my kids knew, and I'm doing something that makes an impact in this community when we do it collectively. It's also become a way for people at Mission to think outside as far as not just buying an item and throwing it in a pile, but where they can serve. Because in a way, we've stamped some partners. It's like, we believe in this organization and what they're doing, and so we're going to collect these items for them. We'll also provide information there where you drop things off. Like, if you want to serve this organization, like, email them, call them, find out when you can serve. So there's not that part in our church communities where they're going, why don't we do a day of service at the thing? It's like, well, in some ways, which those things are awesome, but in some ways it's like, well, don't should on us. You could also pick up the information at this awesome local partner, and you could show up there any day of the week with your family. And I think it would just be so cool if these organizations started going, not only are they dropping stuff off that we actually need, their people are calling and saying, when can my family come and serve? So item of the month is awesome and easy, and it's been really cool. Another one that's been just like super practical, and this we learned from somewhere else, but it's that idea of like, we can't do everything, but we can do something, is what we call Give One, where we challenge everyone every week. We say, give $1 more than you normally would, which for most people is $1. But we take those collective dollars. So whatever attendance is, we're really like assuming everyone's doing this dollar thing. And we count kids and we count adults, and we take whatever that attendance is and we give it away to a family that needs it. It goes to buy groceries. It goes to pay rent. It covers medical bills. It buys, car seats for foster families that are just getting kids and they weren't expecting it to, or it goes to a local organization. And every single week we're able to celebrate good in this community. We're able to say, because we do this and we do this collectively together, maybe something that wouldn't be significant, it's significant. It's significant in someone's life. It's keeping the lights on for some family this month, and we're able to celebrate good in the community. And it also just lets our community know, hey, this isn't like the giveaways for people, just within the church. We're looking and going, who needs help? We're asking, school teachers and counselors at local junior high schools, like, you got a family, you got a kid that needs help, because we've got this money every week, and we're looking for ways to be generous to our community. It's just so cool to celebrate. We can't do everything, but we can do something. Even $1 is making a difference. Becoming that place that loves and appreciates the city, and where the city begins to appreciate that you're there. It's partly this kind of outward focus, looking for ways to develop relationships, humbly showing up in this hospitable manner, going, hey, what do you really need? How can we help? What can we do? But another part of this that we've just learned, that we've just, and I wish we could say we planned this before we ever launched Mission, but that's not what happened. We just were like, about 6 months in, like, I think this is something that we love to do and that we actually feel good about. Is that it's actually become one of our top 5 values, like core values of the church, is that we will throw great parties. So we love throwing parties, and we have a girl on staff that's like an awesome party thrower. So it was kind of like, this is what's in our hand. This is what our team loves. We like to throw parties, and we also really believe that, boring and Christian shouldn't really go in the same sentence, that we have the most, to be excited about and to be filled with joy over, and the most to celebrate. And even as we start to look at how Jesus interacted in his places and in his communities. I mean, the primary way is he's showing up at banquets and feasts and parties. So we thought, like, let's throw some parties, and let's not throw lame parties. Like, let's throw some awesome parties. And so that's become a thing for us, that we would throw great parties, and we would embrace Jesus's words when he says, when you throw a party, like we should be doing it, like when you throw a party, don't do it so that you'll get repaid. Throw parties for people who could never repay you. And so we've decided, like, specifically, we are going to look for ways to throw parties for people who are overlooked or under-celebrated. So for us, it's not going to be, not that they're a bad thing, but it's not going to be the father-daughter dance that we're pouring our resources in and we're throwing a big party in our church. We're looking for people that are overlooked or under-celebrated, and we're putting all the time, money, resources there, and we're throwing some just off-the-chain parties for these people. So one of them would be for foster children, which is just such a blast to be able to invite families in. They're caring for foster kids and just going, what does extravagant love look like here? What would an awesome party be like? A home for homeless mothers who are expecting and pregnant. We're doing Thanksgiving for you guys. We're throwing baby showers for you guys. We're showing up to do banquets with you and among you, because we want to throw you an awesome party. This is our third year. We've just done our third Night to Remember, which is a prom for special needs students. And we had seen this. We worked at some large churches before we ever planted Mission. We had seen this, Jesus prom, special needs students coming, and we thought, man, you've got to have tons of resources and tons of people to do something like that. And you don't. Like, you can do this. And if you want to throw a party for people that are overlooked or under-celebrated, I mean, it is such a blast to have students showing up, and they've got, we've got someone with them the whole night, and their tux is free, and they get to come pick out their dress, and there's red carpet, paparazzi, free limo rides, free dinner, DJ, dancing, flowers, I mean, all of it. And to watch families of these students standing around going, I never thought I would see this. And to see volunteers just showing up going, what is so holy about this moment? And it's a glimpse of heaven. It's throwing that kind of party where we go out and we say, yes, you come in. We want to throw a party. And really, it has changed not only us and our church community, but it's impacted our community. Our community has taken notice, and our community has gotten behind it. In fact, now when we throw Night to Remember, we put the website up there, and we put a party hosted by Mission Church that anyone in the community can volunteer for. So this last Night to Remember, we had 600 volunteers, and 400 of them did not attend our church. There are people in the community going, there's something awesome about throwing parties for people who are overlooked and under-celebrated. They don't know that it's like a glimpse of heaven on earth. They show up and that's what they see. And so there's this part of being in this community and being hospitable and asking, how can we serve and what can we do? And guess what? We want to throw parties. We want to throw parties. We want to be filled with joy that allows your community to see something that's like, good news. It's good news. It's good news this is free. Good news there are no strings attached. Good news we showed up here to help. Good news you are welcome here. Good news. And that's what we're here to bring. And we can begin to create this culture within our churches where we're a place where if we closed our doors, our communities would take notice. And this happens also on a personal level as you begin to teach and create culture in your places, that we ought to be the most joy-filled people in every park, in every driveway, in every parking lot, in every drive-through, in our schools, in our locker rooms, because we have so much to celebrate. And I think that idea is going to allow people to walk out the doors and go, I am a part of a church. And as being part of a church, I am that to this community. So that when people think of mission in the community, they think, hey, I don't know if I believe everything that they believe, but man, they love people. And they're the best tippers, and they throw the best parties, and they care about us, and they care about the needs of this community. They've helped the city. And I don't know what they believe, but they're doing something right, and they're taking notice. And I would be sad if that place shut down, because I love that about them. And so that that just sentence, it wrecked us, it messed with us. If the doors of your church closed tomorrow, would the community be sad, or would they even notice? We do not have it all figured out, and we're still learning, but those are just some practical things through the posture of hospitality, things like item of the month, give one, just looking for those easy on-ramps to be able to serve your community, and then doing some things that just, you know, celebrate your community. And for us, that's throwing great parties. I hope you are awesome party throwers, and thanks for your time.